So Barbara, right, a disastrously clumsy woman, one evening she makes the rookie mistake of microwaving her TV dinner with a fork still on the plate, which results in an explosion that swiftly ends her life. Yet, instead of moving on to the afterlife, Barbara finds herself stuck as a ghost, most likely due to some unfinished business.
At first glance, the situation wasn't all that bad. All she needed to do was complete a few minor tasks before being able to carry on into the afterlife. So she reflected on her bucket list and quickly realized that she had never celebrated her birthday at the South Pole.
When Barbara got to the South Pole, she immediately hired a party planner to organize her birthday. The big day arrived, and she was so pumped until she saw the disgusting decorations. The color scheme made her want to die all over again. She had to get out of there at once. Luckily, she knew there was a place close by to teleport.
Barbara teleported to a red phone box on a country lane just outside the town of Ipswich in England. The distance would make sure that she could put the past behind her and move on. But of course she didn't. She had one task to complete, and that task would make her go down in history. She must celebrate at the South Pole. She only had one choice. She needed to Google the answer to her problems on the internet.
Barbara didn't have a smartphone, so needed another way to get on the internet. She ran down the street and saw a doctor using a laptop at a fast food restaurant. After bursting through the doors, Barbara ran over to the doctor and explained the situation. Dr. Pancakes looked like they'd seen a ghost. Of course they had. Dr. Pancakes was busy looking at cute sloth pictures on their laptop, but was happy to pass it to Barbara to start planning the best party the South Pole would have ever seen.
Now with internet access, Barbara was finally able to research what she needed for a successful South Pole birthday party. Music. That might even make you forget about the dreadful decorations. When she shared her discovery with Dr. Pancakes, the good doctor suddenly jumped up. They'd always dreamt of being a dancer and started dancing right there in the restaurant. Sadly, the other customers considered the music from Dr. Pancake's playlist to be close to the most annoying sound in the world and alerted the police to have them removed.
Realising their mistake, Dr. Pancake stared sadly at the bottom of a coffee cup. He really wanted to help Barbara out. How could he if he was arrested? An idea came to him. Reaching into his bag, he grabbed a smaller case out of it that may help. Something with pink feathers poking from the top. He gave Barbara a quick, ghostly hug in case things didn't work out and dashed to the loo. The police arrived looking for Dr. Pancakes, but when they searched the toilets, all they could find was a flamingo. Yes, Dr. Pancakes had changed into his amateur flamingo impersonator costume, squawk, and managed to fool the police.
Still dressed as a flamingo, Dr. Pancakes and Barbara left the restaurant to head for the South Pole. Flamingos and ghosts generally aren't allowed to fly on planes, and with no way of teleporting them both, they set sail on an 11-month trip by boat, as they chose to take a scenic route to get there in time for Barbara's next birthday. The journey was long, but they made it, and on the way they were even able to acquire a birthday cake with a twist. The candle was a magic wand which would grant just one wish.
So Barbara thought, what do I want? And she thought, I would really love to know how to play the bagpipes for my party. And by the time they were back in the South Pole, she could do it. And surrounded by Dr. Pancakes and all the people that turned up from the Facebook event page that she created on the laptop, she played the bagpipes loudly and proudly. But it was too loud, and she realised as she finished her first song, she heard a loud thump that got louder and louder. And as they looked out the window, they could see a dragon stomping towards the house. And as it got closer, it started to blow flames. So Barbara screamed and everyone ran and hid under the bed.
The situation immediately got worse. Not only was the dragon stomping and blowing flames, but it was also holding a knife, brandishing it towards Dr. Pancakes and screaming, I shall have my revenge! Barbara screamed, revenge for what? But Dr. Pancakes already knew the answer. See, he had competed with the dragon previously in a competition to break a new world record for the longest boat trip wearing a flamingo impersonator costume, and it only lasts 10 months. Dr. Pancakes panicked, looked around and said, "Wait, there's only one way we can settle this. It's Barbara's birthday, let's have a dance-off." And immediately started to throw shapes. Barbara was dancing, Dr. Pancakes was dancing, the dragon was dancing, everyone was going wild. They all looked to the judges, and each and every one of them held up their scorecards. Everyone looked at each other and then erupted into a huge fit of giggles. They cranked the music up to 11 and they danced and had the best party the South Pole had ever seen. And Barbara, in a moment of pure bliss, released and passed over to the other side.